Hello everyone and welcome back to a new tutorial on the how to make a tycoon series. In this video, we're going to be covering how to claim a tycoon and how to set up your tycoon so that your pads will be working in the next episodes. But right now, we're going to make the cash collecting system from your tycoon. So every time I touch this pad, the value will reset and I'm going to be able to gain more and more money. Also, if you guys want to support me and want to have access to all of my project files, including the one you're watching right now, they will all be available on my Patreon in the $10 tier. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is insert a script into server modules. We're going to add a module script and we're going to call it Tycoon module. And in this module, we're going to need a couple of variables up here, a couple of references. The first one is going to be a reference to player service. So local players equals game get service players. And the next one is going to be server storage. So local server storage equals game get service server storage. And then we're going to need replicated storage. So local replicated storage equals game get service replicated storage. Then we're gonna need server script service, local server script service equals game get service script service. And then the last one is going to be a run service, so local run service equals game get service run service. And now what we need to do is local workspace tycoons equals workspace.tycoons. Now we need remotes, so we're gonna add a folder inside of replicated storage and we're gonna call it remotes. Now we're gonna add a reference to the remotes folder, so local remotes equals replicated storage.remotes. Now we're gonna need replicated modules, but we don't need that. I was thinking of having a folder that has modules and replicated storage. I think we might want to need to do that. Okay, so let's just call this modules. And local replicated modules equals replicated storage.replicated modules. Now what we need to do is server modules. So local server modules equals server script service dot server modules. Now what we need to do is have another module inside of the Tycoon module. So we're gonna call this one pads config. I'll explain what all of this does in a minute, but now what we need to do is require that module. So local pads config equals require script.pads config. And now what we need is format number. So local format number. But I think what we need to do is put format number inside of the modules folder in here. And what I'm going to do in the data manager is change this to replicated storage modules format number old. Now we're going to do the same thing here. It will require replicated modules format number old. Now we need the data manager. So local data manager equals and server script require server script service data manager server modules data manager. Okay, now we need local save. This is a variable if you want your Tycoon to save or not. This is going to be true for now. Then we're going to need these variables. So the first one is going to be pads debounces. The next one is going to be collect debounces. Now, I'll explain what these do later in this series, but just keep these in here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a couple of functions. The first one is going to be a function named setup all tycoons, and this is just going to be a normal function, and that's going to take nothing actually, and we're just going to call it as soon as this is run, as soon as the module is required. Now what we need to do is a couple more functions. We need one for claiming the tycoon, so function module.claim tycoon, and this one is going to take the player and the Tycoon. And then we need another one, but this one is going to be detect, actually load Tycoon function module dot load Tycoon, and this is going to also take the player and the Tycoon. Now we need another function module dot, and this one is going to be detect pad touch, and this one is going to take the pad and the Tycoon. But I think I want to put this one in here under this one. And the next one is going to be function module dot by pad, and this one is going to take the player, the Tycoon, the pad name, and also owned, so if the pad is owned or not. Now what we need to do is a function, local function, confirm pad purchase, and this one is going to take these. So player, Tycoon, pad name, and player animation. This is a boolean, by the way. And then the next function we're gonna need is function module dot add money, and this one is going to take the player. And I think we need one last function, local function, get pad data. So get pad data. This one is just going to take pad name. Now we're gonna make the setup. We're gonna script the setup Tycoons function. So this function is going to just set up all the Tycoons so that they are claimable and stuff. So we're gonna loop through every single Tycoon. So for underscore comma Tycoon in workspace Tycoons get children do, and what we're gonna do is local starter build equals Tycoon dot starter build, and local Tycoon template equals starter build dot not starter build equals Tycoon dot Tycoon template. And now what we need to do is Tycoon template dot name equals Tycoon dot name, and now Tycoon template dot parent equals server storage dot Tycoons. And this is where we're gonna add a folder in server storage, and we're gonna call it Tycoons. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is start a build dot claim dot proximity prompt dot triggered connect function, and that's going to take the player. And in here we're gonna call the claim Tycoon function, so module.claim Tycoon, and that's of course going to take the player and the Tycoon. Now what we need to do is module.detect pad touch, and that's going to be starter build and square brackets A001 or A0001. Now I know this does not make any sense right now, but it will. Okay, so this is all we're gonna do in here for now, because we still need to do a lot of. Okay, what is this? What? Okay. What was that? Okay. Now we still need to do a lot of stuff, so we need to make the actual Tycoon, but this is just going to be a testing Tycoon. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is create a pad. So I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to create a cylinder. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to make it look like a Tycoon pad that you can purchase stuff from. So I'm just going to make it bigger. I'm gonna make it neon so that it's bright, and I'm also going to make it maybe a nice little purple, but I think it glows too much, so might want to bring this down. You know what, I'm just gonna keep it like this. Good enough. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to call this I'm gonna group this, and I'm going to call it A0001, Now in this Tycoon, each pad is referred to by a an ID. So this one's ID is A0001. That's why we put A0001 in here in the Tycoon module. But I'll explain what that does. Okay, so now what we need to do is anchor this and make sure that can't collide is actually no, we don't really need to mess around with can't collide. Now what I need to do is add a billboard GY to this, and I'm going to set its size to so just size. I'm gonna set it to this size because I found that it worked best. It's just 6.494 and 8.118, and then I'm going to always on top. I think I want that to be checked. I'm not sure though, but what I'm gonna do now is add a text label to it. So a text label, and I think I want the size to be so size, I want that to be 1 comma 0 0.2, 1 comma 0 comma 0 0.2 comma 0, and the background transparency is going to be 1. The text is going to be $10. Okay, what is that? $10. And I'm just going to check text scaled and text color to white, and now we need to change the font to Fredoka 1. And now what we need to do is, I think I'm just going to keep it like that, where I can add in a little UI stroke that will make it look a bit better. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to make sure that it doesn't scale. Okay, nice. I'm just going to put it somewhere in here. I want to put it right here. Now, what do we want this A0001 pad to build? And this is where we're going to use the Tycoon template. I'm going to have a folder, and it's going to be called B0001. And this is what A0001 will build. It will build B0001. So what I'm going to do is, in this B0001 thing, I just want to have a wall that I want to build, or maybe just a part. I'm just going to put this in, just this cylinder. I just want this cylinder. Maybe it can be just a part. Maybe a block. I want it to build this wall. I'm just going to make a wall with this. Okay, so let's just make a wall with this. Let's say we want it to create this wall right here. We want this to build this. So let's just change the color of this wall to something a bit better, a bit more pleasing to the eye. I'm just gonna choose a random color here. I'm just gonna go with purple. Okay, now I want this to build this, right? So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, put this inside of the starter build, because we want the Tycoon to come with this. So when it will, this is going to be what comes with the Tycoon. So you don't need to purchase anything to see this. Okay, now what we need to do is I want B001. I want this part to be inside of B001. I'm also going to make sure it's anchored, because this builds B0001. So what I'm gonna do is also add a pad to it. I also want this to be a model. I'm just going to call it wall. I don't think I need to set the primary partner. For some reason my studio just randomly closed. Okay, so I recovered my scripts after my studio crashed, and what I'm gonna do now is I think this is not put in the right place. We need this to be inside of starter build, and we want part to be inside of B0001. And now what I want to do is, I want B001 to build something else. So I want B001 to have another pad. This pad is going to be A0002. And let's say I want this pad to be let's just say red. I'm just going to make it red, and I'm going to I just want this to be brighter red. Okay, that's good enough. I'm just going to put it right here. I want it to build this and this pad. So I'm going to also put A002 in B001. So this A001 will build B0001, which has A0002. That makes sense. I don't know if you get it or not. I'll explain this a bit more in detail. It will make sense when we get into the scripting. Okay, so now what we need to do is select both of these paths, A001 and A002, and we're gonna add an attribute, and it's going to be pad, just to know that it's a pad. Okay, now what we're gonna do is inside of pads config, in this module right here, we're gonna have return, and it's just going to return these. So this ID is going to be A0001, and the price of this, I want it to, so this is the config of the pads. So the first one is A0001, and the price of it is going to be 10, and it builds B0002 1, sorry. And I think that's it. That's all we need right now. If you want to add another pad, you can do A002, and we want this to build B002, and this is how it's going to work and bump up the price, but we don't need this right now. Okay, now what we need to do is see if we can first of all claim this, because we need to be able to claim it, but we need to set some attributes to the Tycoon itself. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is select my Tycoon 1, and I'm going to add an attribute, and it's going to be a string, and it's going to be owner, and it's going to be set to no one by default. Now what we're gonna do is go back inside of the claim Tycoon function right here, and we're gonna code it. So in this claim function, what we want is get a starter build, just copy this, and then we need to check if the Tycoon's owner attribute is set to no one. If it's not set to no one, then we're just going to return and stop this because it's already owned by someone. And now what we're going to do is Tycoon colon set attribute, and we're going to set the owner attribute to the player's name, so player.name. And now what we're going to do is start build dot claim colon destroy. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is call the load Tycoon function, so module.load Tycoon. That's going to take the player and the Tycoon, but of course this is empty. It's not going to do anything because we haven't coded that yet. Now what we need to do is get the player's profile. So local profile equals data manager. The profile is where the player's data is stored. Data manager.profile square brackets player. Now what we need to do is get the collecting pad. So local collecting pad, and the collecting pad is this. This is the collecting pad. We need to get it. So local collecting pad equals, and it's going to be tycoon.starterbuild dot collecting pad. We're not gonna do anything with it yet, but we're gonna see what we're gonna do with it later. So now what we need to do is see what if this works. But first of all, we need to require script.parent. This is of course temporary. Script.parent.server modules.tycoon module. Of course this is temporary. We're not gonna have that in the actual game, but we're gonna test this to see if it works, and I should be able to claim my Tycoon. And no, I'm not able to do that. So let's see why this is happening. Format. Okay, so I spelled format number wrong for some odd reason. Let's see. So it's in the data manager. Okay, format number old. Dot modules. Dot format number old. Let's see if that works. Okay, we have another error. Let's see. And proximity prompt is not a valid member of that. Okay, proximity prompt. So I think I spelled it correctly. No, I did not. This should be dot claim. Okay, dot primary part. We need dot primary part and set the primary part of this to where is it? Where's the primary to the actual part? Okay, now we can play and see if this works. Let's hope we don't get any more errors. And okay, we didn't get any errors. We're gonna claim this, and that disappears, and we can now claim this. And now we need to be able to purchase these pads. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, in the I think it's in the profile template. Okay, profile template. Data manager profile template. I think we all just set these up. I think they work fine. So what we need to do, we need to code a couple of functions. So first of all, I wanna make the add money function that will give us money over time. So what I'm gonna do is get the profile in here. Profile equals data manager dot profile square brackets player. And what we need to do is while true do, we're gonna wait 1 second. That's dot wait 1 second. And what I'm gonna do is local rate equals profile dot data dot tycoon data dot rate per second. And now we need to do profile dot data dot tycoon data dot tycoon currency. I think tycoon currency. And what we're gonna do is plus equal rate. Now what we can do is, I think that's basically all we need. Now we need to code the get pad data function, which is going to be useful in the next part of this series. So for underscore comma v in pads config do if v square brackets id equals pad name, then return v. So we don't need to do this in every single line of code. Whenever we need to get the pad data, we just need one line of code instead of doing all this. We just need to call this function. Okay, now we need to make the add money function work. So let's do that. So inside of, I think we need to do that inside of the what's it called, claim tycoon function. I'm not really too sure. I'm gonna double check and I'll be back. Okay, so we want to add the money when you claim the tycoon. So we're just gonna do that right here. So module dot add money, that's going to take the player, and let's see if that works. We just need to update the text of the collecting pad. So we're gonna do that right now. And I think the best way to do that is with a run service. I'm not too sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, yep, a run service. So what I'm gonna do is in the after this add money thing, I'm gonna do run service dot heartbeat comma connect function, and collecting pad dot billboard gy dot text label dot text equals, and it's going to be equal to the player dot name dot, and maybe I want it to have okay, let's just do player dot name and just tycoon, and then cash to collect. We want to drop a line, and to drop a line you just need to do slash, actually no, the reverse slash. So reverse slash, and that's going to drop a line. Cash, just type it there, don't put it space, to collect, and the cash to collect, we want to do a count, and we're going to drop another line. So again, a reverse slash and n, so we're going to drop another line, and dot, this is going to be dot format number dot format compact, or maybe format standard, and that's going to take the profile dot data dot tycoon data dot tycoon currency. And now that I think about it, this is the code is going to reach this, and it's going to stop. It's going to get stuck in this because there's a while loop that goes on forever. So I need to use a coroutine dot wrap. So coroutine dot wrap. That's going to take that and just do this. I think it will work. So what I'm gonna do is play the game. and see if this works. So after claiming the Tycoon, this should say something else. It should say cash to collect. 1, 2, 3. Now we need to be able to actually collect this cash. So what I want to do is in here. Okay, so let's see. We need to where is the collecting pad? We need to give the player that money whenever you touch the collecting pad. So what we're gonna do is collecting pad dot touched dot I think it's dot primary part dot touched connect function, and that's going to take hit, and if hit dot parent find first child humanoid, then what we're gonna do is local player touch equals players on get player from character hit dot parent, and now we're gonna check if player touch then what we're gonna do is no, we need to check if the player who touched this is the actual player who owns the Tycoon. So I'm just going to do if player touch dot name equals player dot name. Then what we're gonna do is if collect the bounces player then return, and so then collect the bounces square brackets player equals true. This is a debounce system, and this is how you do debounces in the server, not in the client. I'll explain it. So now we need to do profile dot so in profile service, to add to change the data of the player, you need to access the player's profile, which we already did in here. Where is it? We did it in here. Yep. Oh, we got the profile, and then in the data you change it from the data. You don't change the leader stats. So leader stats dot cash plus equal, and profile dot data dot tycoon data dot tycoon currency. And remember, tycoon currency is what we're adding in here. We're adding the rate, and we claim that. So after doing that, what we need to do is set that to 0. So player dot data dot tycoon data dot tycoon currency equals 0. So we need to reset it, and task dot wait 2 seconds, and then if collect debounces player, then collect debounces player equals false. Now I think this should hopefully work. Let's see. But we can't really see the small increase in cash because of the formatting, but I just want to see if this resets. It does reset. So what I want to do is stop the formatting. So I'm just going to go in the data manager, and down here in the leader stats, I want to change this to format standard. And it's just going to format it using a comma, I think. Yep, that works. I'm just going to claim this, and as you can see, it does give me money, so it goes up, and I'm able to claim it. I don't know why I have this something in my mouse, which is really annoying. Okay, it's not going away. I'm just going to restart studio. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is go over what we have done so far. So what we did, so first of all, how can you add stuff to your Tycoon? So the stuff that's already built that you don't have to buy, you put in the starter build folder. Like this pad, that's a default pad. Basically everything in here. Okay, so everything is what you start off with. And if you create a pad, make sure to add an attribute called pad, kind of like a tag that indicates that it's a pad. And if this is A0 and you rename it to an ID, I would recommend you stick to a consistent ID. So for example, A0001, A0002, and if you somehow get to A9999, what you can do is B0001, and you continue like that. So I would recommend you do that. And every pad that has A in it, it will build the same ID with that has a B in it. So A0001 will build B0001, and B0001 has this pad named A0002. So when this is touched, it will build something called B0002, and it goes on like this. I don't know if this is confusing or not, but I think it makes sense if you think about it. But now what we're gonna do is get to the this. So to configure your paths, you just go to this paths config module, and you just have a multiple tables. This one is going to be so it has ID, which is A0001. It has a price of 10, and it builds B0001. Now what I want to go over is I want to double check something. I just realized that this doesn't happen. It doesn't take Tycoon template and put it in server storage. I want to see why that is happening, because I think it should do it. So let's see. I'm just going to play. Okay, so it did do it. It does do it actually. Sorry, I thought it didn't. But as you can see, I'm able to claim money. So let's explain what the Tycoon module does. We have all these functions that you don't have to worry about. Just worry about the ones that we wrote, except for this one, because this will make sense in the next episodes. So we have a function for adding money, and what this does. So in our profile template, we have leader stats and Tycoon data. And this Tycoon data, we have rate per second and Tycoon currency. Tycoon currency is how much money you have from your Tycoon. So every second you get 1, right? So after 10 seconds you're gonna have 10, and Tycoon currency is going to be 10. And when you collect that, it's going to come back to 0. So every second we increase the Tycoon currency by the rate. Okay, you can change this to 2 seconds if you want, but I'm just going to keep it to 1 second. Now in our claim Tycoon function. So when we claim our Tycoon, we call the add money function. So we start gaining money after claiming our Tycoon. Now when you touch the collecting pad, it's pretty simple. We use profile service to change the player's cash and add the profiles data.tycoon currency, and then we just reset that, and then we just change the text, and again this /n thing, it just drops a line. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's tutorial. I hope that explanation was good. Probably wasn't, but if you guys like the tutorial, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.